My Gavan and Melonin, and well met indeed. I'm Arachir Galadirthan, head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome to Divide and Conquer in an entirely new medium, and this is of course a multiplayer battle. I conscripted two of our main beta testers, Matsz and Brasidas, who are also two of the main moderators on Discord. And they are going to go up against me as the High Elves. Now, there is a purpose to this medieval multiplayer madness, and that is, of course, to give you all now a glimpse outside of a developer diary in a little bit more of an interesting way at the High Elven roster. Because, of course, this will get covered in a developer diary, so you will see them. But in that version, of course, it will just be the units all standing around. There's no real purpose, there's no real engaging viewing going on behind. You just get to actually look at what they look like. Whereas this will show you them actually fighting and defending and, in many cases, unfortunately, dying because I'm terrible at this game. And Matsz and Brasidas are both very good at strategy games in general. And I'm only really clinging on with the fact that I'm High Elves here. Now, this is also following on, which probably has not gone live yet, but Athelstan from Total War Center, where he's known as King Athelstan. We played a multiplayer game with myself on Saturday, just gone, for a sort of Total War Center interview, if you will, for the Total War Center dedicated YouTube channel. I thought it was really, really good fun. I do excuse there'll be a few bugs, of course, this is developer still. I thought it was very good fun in the little interview, and that will go up on the Total War Center YouTube channel. But it did make me think, now that DaC actually works multiplayer for me, which previously it never did, I should be able to play with some of the beta testers and give you all a glimpse of some changes that are to come. So we've recorded quite a few of these, or I haven't recorded them yet, but we played quite a few of these multiplayer battles with various armies to try and show them off in future. So if this goes down relatively well, I can also show you some of the changes to the Woodland Realm, Lothlorien and the Northern Dunedain, all through the medium of a multiplayer battle. Now for this one, of course, we've chosen grassy plains, so you'll have to forgive the rather boring backdrop, but it is the most fair method, I suppose, because there are no hills, of course. I should also canvass this by saying, of course, that in terms of battle strategy, I am slow, not very quick to react, poor at micromanagement, and generally not that strategically minded overall. I'm a bit laissez-faire, if you will. And as you can see, I've opted for the openings of a noob circle. What I like to officially call the Horseshoe of Defense. And it's protecting, of course, my vast store of archers in the middle there. So, if we slow it down just for a moment to run through the actual visuals. Well, we don't need to slow it down, do we, actually? We can be at times number one. There's just some cavalry backfire going on at the back. But, as I said before, this design now is the unit that the Elder Rinwë now have, but they have since been changed to Noldor. So they are now Noldorin archers. Running around out the back over here are the Noldorin veterans with their two-handed swords. And then holding the line in the front there against Bjorning warriors are the Noldorin defenders, the old Elder Rinwë spearmen. So the Noldorin, who are your dedicated, available everywhere elites, now have the silver and red armor of Imladris. The two best units in your entire roster, the Elder Rinwë Tierno and the Elder Rinwë Roquen, they now have the golden armor of the First Age, representing their age, longevity, and superiority and skill. So the Tierno are golden, as are... I did have them chasing down these buckets, but they finally got through. Somewhere around the back here are the Elder Rinwë Roquen, getting completely forgotten about by myself and murdered by the Rohirrim. So there they are. The golden armor atop those horses. Now, something I'm thinking we might then do is create a clone of that horse and make that armor golden as well, so that their horse has the golden trim, which is something I will ask Hummingbird to do. So there they are, the Elder Rinwë Roquen in the gold armor. So those are the kind of main visual changes to the High Elves. But of course, there are the other changes. There haven't really been too many. There aren't new visuals, but old visuals have been used in newer places, if you will. So I don't have any Amanyar units in this roster at the moment, because I didn't have enough money really, and I didn't want to just have one of every single type of unit. But So there we are. So the Noldorin and Eldarin have been changed around. It is rather disappointing that I didn't bring any Amania, but yeah, their time will come. You will see them in due course. So now if I stop pressing the move forward fast button, it will move forward at a much easier pace. So the armies that we're up against for this specific battle, of course, Brasidas, not necessarily of course, but the Rohirrim are led by Brasidas, and he is using them to charge into my archers where and when he can. And of particular note are his Royal Guard in the back there, causing a lot of havoc. And he's also gone for Aered Heavy Lancers and Riddermark Axemen, or Riddermark Heavy Cavalry, who are armor-piercing, axe-wielding warriors. There's one. No, that's the secondary weapon of the other. They have large two-handed axes. There they are, in the golden armor. He also brought some of the Minas Ithil Guardians, which I thought was rather sneaky, because of course Rohan gets access to them now. And that's pretty much his roster. A couple of Yorling units in there as well to try and, well, I assume do the dying for my superior archers. And he is teamed up with Matsz, as I say, who has come as the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm. Even though he's playing as the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm, he's using their alliance as well. And he has obviously brought a ton of Bjornings. He's got King's Warriors in there as well. And then lastly, he brought 4 units of Woodland Sentinels, which are Khazad-dûm's elven recruitable unit. Or they don't actually, this is why this is a bit cheeky really, because in the Khazad-dûm campaign you cannot train Woodland Sentinels nor Bjornings. You get given them on your way to Khazad-dûm and then that is it. So it's a bit sneaky really, but it didn't matter, I allowed it. So as you can see, they've gone to just try and surround me. Soak up the front line with melee, use cavalry and archers in the back to try and kill off my own archers. The Silver Surfer here is because, spoiler alert, the Woodland Realm elites have been edited as well. Only in the weapons that they use, not in anything major. But obviously that particular one needs to be ascribed ownership again to Khazad-dûm. There's his Royal Guard.
The enemy force remains.
Down to half, but as you can see, it is damned close. 50-50 almost all the way throughout. My Eldarin veterans, or Noldorin veterans as they are now known, are keeping his cavalry busy and doing very, very well indeed. But my Noldorin archers have been decimated. My captain, I should say, is this gentleman just here, who is with one of the Noldorin units. There he is. Looking very cool indeed. He's the banner carrier, but with fancier armor and golden armor instead of silver. But he looks pretty good. Pleased with him. So he's protected at the moment. Our front line though is getting absolutely smashed. I had Sindar spearmen out on the farthest flanks, and they obviously are up against, well, in this case, Yorling warriors, King's warriors, and Bjorning warriors versus Sindar spearmen. But they are holding relatively well. Recall the changes I spoke of in yesterday's video, or the last video, about spearmen now being better. But of course, pikemen are still remarkably overpowered, and the TNO have lost hardly any units, broken the back of an entire Bjorning force, and are now curling round to crush them in the centre. On our right-hand flank, our own Noldorin defenders are doing well, but on the left-hand side, the Noldorin defenders have pushed out again into the Bjorning warriors and are breaking through. So the right-hand side has more people up against it though, because they are fighting the Minas Ithil Guardians. Minas Ithil Guardians, who look damned good, if you ask me. One of Gondor's finest visual units. I don't understand why people don't like them. They look so crisp and good quality, and their design is seen nowhere else. Now, I absolutely love them. I'll be very disappointed if they do go. Perhaps we could use their, make them a bit more generic in regards to the armour they wear, and use them as an upgrade for Citadel Guard or something like that. There's more Sindar spearmen out on the edge there, and our own, the last of our Eldarin Roquen standing guard there. I've never done a replay before, and I'm interested to see that all my shortcut keys don't work, so I can speed the battle up by pressing the buttons, but I can't speed it up by pressing my shortcut, or I can rather speed it up, but I can't then lower it. And also I don't know how to turn this off. I appreciate you may not want it off because it gives you some sort of frame of reference, but I like to have those kind of things off. And I couldn't figure out how to do that, so I'd have to just check in the keyboard commands. Many people, from what I can gather, don't really realise that the keyboard commands section is a thing. At the main menu, you can go into the options, and it will tell you all of the keys assigned to the game. And so many times we answer questions of people saying, for example, in my videos I use the reduced UI, and I often turn it off with the F5, F6 and F7 keys. And people always ask me that, like it's something we've added in the mod, and it's like, no, just go and check the keyboard commands and it will tell you. But anyway, there we are, I'm moaning, I shouldn't. But I did thoroughly enjoy the multiplayer. As I say, in previous versions I've always understood the theory of how multiplayer should work, in that you both have to have your files named the same. So if my mod is saved under third_age_3 and I want to play Medieval 2 with someone else, they have to also have their files saved in a folder called third_age_3. And anything else seems to break the game. But in the past I've never actually had it work. Whereas now it does, so I was very pleased at that. And I may well open it up on the Discord, possibly, to some grandiose 8 versus 8s with just members of the community, really. That's the whole point of Discord, making connections, playing games with people you may not have played with before. You will note, of course, that the melee line is now decimated. Our left-hand flank has managed to hold them back and has beaten them off. Lindar Mariners coming to the rescue there at the last to ensure our survival and victory, and there they are in upgraded gear.
Enemy general lies dead.
Looking very good indeed. And the Noldoran defenders with 19 left pursuing any routing units. But the Woodland Sentinels still fight on, and our archers are holding them. And on our right-hand flank, again, we use the Sindar archers to break the back of the enemy, because they still had a relatively full battalion. And there they are now, moving into support against, again, the Minisithil Guardians. But we're moving the Noldoran archers round the back. We're doing what they did to us, but the other way around. The Yawling Militia has come back for some more, but it won't be long. But annoyingly, the Royal Guard are still alive. They were off over here trying to snipe my general, but he managed to stay alive. I don't actually know where he is now. He's in this mix somewhere. But, well, he might be that one over there, actually. No, I don't know. But anyway, Brasidas tried desperately to keep his cavalry charging going. But our Noldoran archers were absolutely decimated. They were massively smashed by the enemy.
Victory will be ours.
But our melee line held. But this battle here is a lovely indicator and visual representation of the fact that spearmen are now considerably better in the mod than they were before. Because these Minisithil Guardians are granted they're elites, but so are the Noldoran defenders, and they fight to the last for the entire thing. The Guardians are only down to 66, and the Noldoran defenders down to 40 from 100. Each of them, I think, has 100. So it's just insane how long they've been, how long they're going. But it is spearmen versus spearmen, so perhaps if one of them was a sword unit or one of them was anything other than spearmen, they might well have gone down quicker. But the pikes are turning on them now, the Tierno are coming in. Now, Minisithil Guardians as well, it should be noted, cannot run away. They have locked morale. But something that we did note in the battle is, despite the fact their morale is locked, of course, a unit with locked morale can still effectively break. They can get to a point where their morale is at the lowest it would be, and were they a non-locked unit, they would run away. And at that point, of course, their effectiveness goes down. They tend to start dying quicker. But the Minisithil Guardians just never broke. They just fought and fought and fought and fought. And the more that I look at this design, the more that I really do lament the fact that it might go with an arcade-style unit. But the actual model itself can be used wherever we want it to, so I will find a place for it. I will find a way to save that model, because I'm not having that leave the mod. There are a few times that I put my foot down as mod leader, I think. Feel free to change my view on that, Hummingbird, RK, Ted, if you feel that I actually am oppressive. But I don't think I put my foot down very often at all, but there's the odd thing where I just think, no, that's got to stay. And this unit I like too much. I appreciate I don't play as Gondor. I rarely play the mod full stop. And I barely ever see that unit. But every time I look at it, I just think, God, that is such a high quality unit. And to be honest, it's the same thing with the High Elves. I'm actually really looking forward to playing as the High Elves because their roster is just gorgeous. That is the word I would use. They look so refined and so... The textures for a 13 or almost 14-year-old game now, the High Elves can show you just how good the textures can still look even this late stage. Or not this late stage, but even this far on. The game, whilst I appreciate there are aspects of the game that do leave a lot to be desired, there are also aspects of the game that still shine even now. I recently saw a post on Reddit, actually, about a new Total War user who has come to Total War with the era of Warhammer 2. And because obviously people always bang on about Rome 1 and Med 2 being amazing, he thought he'd give them a go and he'd have a play of them. And he said he doesn't understand where all the praise comes from. The games are clunky, their mechanics don't work, the AI is bad, the graphics are bad.
He's like the coward he is. Press onward and break the spirit of his army.
There we are, Rohan of running. But of course, if you come to the games later, then yes, the graphics of these earlier games are poor. But if you've played the earlier games first and then you see the graphics of the later games, it's easy to see where the flaws in the later games are, because you know what they've taken away in order to create those games. And that's what's missing. But I think the textures are fine. I think the units in this look really good. I always have done. Otherwise I would have not bothered modding it. I would have given up ages ago. But anyway, of course, Brasidas' general is gone, and the Minas Ithil Guardians here, these three men in the middle, are all of his Gondorian insurrection. Or is it High Elven tyranny? Are we fighting for the oppressors, or are we the freedom fighters? But down they go. Oh, there's two more in a different battalion, but one's just been taken down. No mercy from the Noldorin defender.
The enemy army flees the field.
It's
Pursue
over.
and run them down.
The Guardians are gone. The Elves give thanks to Tulkas for the strength and might of this great and important victory. But lo and behold, their lesser kin have not given in yet. The army musters to change formation and prepare to fight off the last of the Woodland Realm. And fight on despite the bleak odds. Still showering us with their arrows from afar. Speaking of arrows in regards to stats with the High Elves, the High Elven archers will still be in the best archers in the game, but they will now be for each tier, the worst archers of the Elves. Many of you will probably disagree with that. People have such a, if you'll pardon the crudity of it,
Salve upon our wounds.
people get such a hard-on for Noldor, but yes, the Woodland Realm will have better archers than the Noldor for each tier. So your first archer unit is worse than the Woodland Realm's first archer unit, and then tier 2 is worse, and then tier 3, etc, etc. So if you dislike that, though, I can only apologise. But there we are, an average victory replay finished. We lost 1,046, Matsz 1,476. And Brasidas only 914, but he did bring less men to the field. In terms of kills, unfortunately, for some reason, I would have thought that the replay would let you see everyone's, but it doesn't. It only shows you whoever you are. And my greatest kills went to the Eldarin Waitierno with 300 kills. Second were Noldorin Defenders, the spear units next to them. And then in third was again Noldorin Defenders with 235. So our spear and pike units took the most kills, which is quite interesting to me. The next one after that is quite a ways down with 175 Sindar Spearmen. So our archers not performing very well at all, really. Of course they're still up there, but not getting the best of the best. And there we are, so a multiplayer battle on the channel to show off the High Elven roster in a bit more of an interesting way. Of course, there will be a developer diary to actually go through the roster in full, so you can see every visual, and indeed if there are any stats changed, you can see stats changed. But for now, that is all. I do hope you've enjoyed this medium, because if you do, I can certainly do more of these. I have many willing beta testers to play the mod with me, and indeed the Discord would probably jump at the chance to play large 8-player multiplayer games. But multiplayer is a bit of a new area to me, so obviously the actual narration and camera movements and things will take some honing. But do let me know what you think, and that's all for now. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you have, and until we speak again, dear friends, Navar na den Pedimad Melonin, and farewell.